A dog? What's going on out there?
Yeah, an animal on the roadway. That's at the Spaghetti Bowl, 95 southbound at the 15.
Oh, that stinks. All right. So I hear some CPR for cats and dogs. Okay. Now, I hope my husband's listening to this because my husband doesn't really like my cats. And if I'm not home, I am really, really hoping that he will actually give CPR to my cats. And likewise, I will give CPR to the dog. All right. So I will. I know the dog is very, very wet. It has a very, very wet mouth, our dog, but I'm sure I will get through it to save the dog's life as long as I am confident that my husband will do the same for my cats. All right. So if anybody sees that dog and, are listening to the Dr. Daliah show, this is how you perform CPR on the dog or cat. You open the animal's mouth and you make sure the air passage is clear. If not, remove the object obstructing the air passage. Be careful. Because if the dog is only pretending, he could bite you, all right? So be careful when you're removing the objects. Extend the head and give several artificial respirations. For large dogs, you're actually going to close the animal's jaw tightly and breathe into his nose, his boogery, wet, mucousy nose. The animal's chest should rise. Give 2 breaths. For small dogs and cats, you may be able to cover the nose and mouth with your mouth as you breathe. The animal's chest should rise. Again, you give 2 breaths. Now, I remember my grandmother had Chinese pugs, and Chinese pugs are very boogery because their nose is very flat, And I remember the dog was very fat with small legs, fell into the pool, started rolling around in the pool, and we actually had to give CPR to the dog. Now, I was a kid, and I was not going to put my mouth on a boogery, chlorinated nose and mouth of a pug. But luckily, somebody else did, and the dog lived. But you got to do it, all right? Then you perform the chest compressions, all right? So you guys are out there on, on the I-15? For large dogs, you may be able to position the dog on its back, but if he doesn't do it, you lie them on their side and you compress the side of their rib cage. Same thing with the smaller animals. Dogs over 60 pounds, you'll do compressions about 60 per minute. Animals a little smaller than that, you'll do 80 to 100. And those tiny little chihuahuas, 10 pounds or less, 120 compressions per minute. That is a lot.